Alright, so this video is me kind of like a rant video. As you probably know, if you follow games, like probably the reason why you also subscribe to this channel, big game dropped, early access. It's called Starfield. I think it started Thursday or Friday last week. I've been playing it a little bit off and on here and there, and made by Bethesda Studios. First game from Bethesda Studios. I found myself actually returning and getting a refund. So excited about this game, but I feel really compelled to talk about why I returned my copy of Starfield. So I took a couple of notes. I'm gonna just run down my notes. Hopefully this isn't a long video, but I really need to get out there my opinion on the type of game Starfield is, and the type of game that the typical adventure RPG game has become. People are calling it a Bethesda game, and I understand why they're doing that because of how unique the gameplay style is. However, I think they're also using that term to substantiate why the game has its shortcomings, or the reason why the game acts the way it does, or to make up for its way of doing things, even if the way of doing things is outdated and no longer a fun experience. So let's jump right into my experience when I started the game. As soon as I started the game, okay, now give you a little bit of backstory. I've played the older Bethesda games. I didn't play Morrowind, but on the Xbox 360 I played Oblivion, and I played the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I played Fallout 3, I played Fallout New Vegas, and I played Fallout 4. Fallout 3, okay, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, when the king comes in your cell and he says, let me see your face. I remember that vividly, and I remember having to escape the cell with some of the blades, the king's blades, and then you're set out on your own path, and you can eventually come back to the main story and do that, which was a good experience in its whole. I remember doing a side quest, and it was the Thief's Guild. The Thief's Guild side quest was such a fun quest, and I remember stealing the boots of Spring-Heeled Jack. That whole side quest was so fun. I felt like I beat the game inside the game. I beat a game that was inside the game. I was a thief at that point, and I was going about the rest of the game as a thief because that was my origin, or at least that's how I felt. That role-playing experience was very genuine, and I had fun with that. Now back to the mundane systems of having to walk everywhere you want to go, and having basically a mount that you can carry before you get over encumbered. They seem to make sense in a medieval setting, okay? And I'm gonna get back to that, but Fallout 3, actually don't really remember the beginning of that, but I do remember the first town that I went to, and you had the option to help the town or destroy the town. In some events inside of Fallout 3, the VAT system was very memorable. Some of the events in Fallout 3 were pretty stand out and memorable, and I think it was fun. Generally fun. Fallout 4, Fallout Vegas, New Vegas, and Fallout 4, I feel like Fallout New Vegas was good, but in its own way. Fallout 4 was super memorable because huge plot twist. Plot twist so huge for me, I actually had to cut off the game because I was afraid to figure out what choice to make. I didn't know what to do, which was weird. I felt so engaged in that game. I did the Minutemen quest, and I loved getting inside of the iron hulking, forgot what you call those robots. They're like armored suits that you get in that protect yourself from the radiation, but also they run on some battery power or something like that, basically. But that was such a cool feature, because you take no fall damage. So you'll be in the ship from this one faction, and you fall out inside the suit. You can just jump out. I mean, literally, come on, it's called Fallout, but I know that refers to another term, but you fall out of the ship and you take no damage. It's like Titanfall or whatever, but it was so fun to do stuff like that. But I also could understand the mundane systems of having to walk and having over encumbrance, because you were in the, post-apocalyptic. Things were less developed, horribly less developed in most of the game. So yeah, you wouldn't be able to, put stuff in a car. There was no, I guess, no vehicles and stuff like that that you could drive around in, and so you had to walk, and you had to carry your stuff on you pretty much. So there was a over encumbrance issue there. Now, getting to the start of Starfield, Starfield started off so bad. It looked great, to be honest. It looked great being a miner, and I think her name was Lynn or something like that. She being like your supervisor or something. And then you eventually get attacked by some random pirates. This guy named Barrett. It was pretty cool seeing him, I guess, come off the ship, and he looked like he had an air about him that gave you a sense of wonder, like, hey, like, stuff could be out there type of deal. But and then when he gave you a watch, I thought that was a bit significant. That was cool. But they literally just tell you to leave. Like, there's nothing here. Get in my ship and go. Like, you get Barrett's ship for no real reason at all. I think it'd be nice if, like, maybe you now, lackluster start, not exciting. What happened was not exciting, and then they kick you out off the planet, give you a ship. You don't even really explain why, and you have to go to the first planet to talk to the first group and get the story started. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything for somebody who's watching this, but because in the end, I feel like ultimately I'm disappointed that I had to return the game. So if I could play it for free, I probably would play it. But honestly, me returning the game is my protest that, hey, this can be done better, and it doesn't have to be. I don't think it costs a lot of money to do, right? I know a lot of work gets put into these games, and to create systems that just make it convenient for the player to actually enjoy. I think you don't need to put a lot of money behind that. Okay, and I'll kick out a couple of ideas. Matter of fact, let me write that down. Ideas. So I can talk about what I would think, would be some simple changes that would help the game, right? Help you enjoy the game and not keep you from getting started. All right. Now I'll give you one of the ideas. How about Barrett tells you to get on the ship because they get attacked by pirates. The mine is blowing up, okay? And there's some crazy like deposit in that specific mine that's making it blow up like crazy. Like maybe that planet blows up. That'd be crazy, right? You gotta get out of the system, which means you need to learn how to get out of the system. Maybe Barrett takes a gunshot to the knee, and you have to fly the plane. So you get out there, you learn space combat from the pirates, and you have to learn how to grav jump out of that system. Planet blows up, and it's just news at that point. But from there, Barrett is like a walking manual, telling you about things and telling you how to do stuff, right? I know the little robot was there, but that was super dry and boring. I did like how he said the robot can say your name. I think that was one of the coolest parts. But let me tell you what I really wanted, right? I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to be honest, because there was an expectation to be had with this game. I expected the game to be something similar to this movie I love called Interstellar, right? You get that robot. That robot on Interstellar was super basic, but it was like super advanced. Like all the tech was inside of him, right? He looked like a walking refrigerator. But just that wonder, the crew leaves this one guy on the ship, and when they come back off the Earth, they go back to the guy on the ship, and the guy's like aged like mad years. He got old while he was waiting for them to return. It was crazy. So imagine he's sitting in space for like years of his life, while it was just like hours for them. Crazy. So I did notice a little bit of that. Certain planets that you're on, they have different like time tables. Like it'll be more or less time based on like whatever, like if you want to wait for some time, it'll change differently, which I thought was cool. I think these little nuances in the game are cool, but I've never used the word marred so many times to explain something, because I feel like the experience that Starfield was trying to present was marred in so many ways because of the like old jank systems that they didn't even really need, to be honest. Like let's take exploration for example. Okay, yeah, you're mining stuff now, so it's a new feature. You're mining stuff, just like No Man's Sky, whatever, that game. But that's cool. But now you're a pirate, or you're a guy, space shooter or whatever, doing shooting combat, probably raiding some refinery or whatever, or some cave with enemies or whatever, right? You're shooting. But when you go into that space station to check like the rooms and stuff like that, there's like butter knives and half-eaten sandwiches and stuff like that that you can pick up. You know, I like, right, the fact that you can see these little 3D models of items and stuff around. But the problem with that system is, you get too caught up in it, okay? You kind of feel like because you're exploring that little refinery or something, every little item has some sort of value, like a picture frame or whatever. You feel like it's worth throwing in your inventory, and then feeling like you have to do something with it. Okay, I mean, you could just control your impulses and not touch anything, and I guess you'll be okay. But sometimes the way I used to play Fallout, for instance, was the biggest thing, like which was the, I guess, the game that had me doing that the most, picking up these little items all over the place, because you were scavenging. Part of Fallout 4 was like scavenging, trying to find, oh, this is one of those little batteries that you can put in your robot suit, and your robot suit will be charged or whatever. Or here's some ammo because I need ammo or whatever, right, for these guns and stuff. So you're scavenging, but you also want to kind of barter, right? So you want to, get these little trinkets and junk and all that stuff, right? It felt like it fit that RPG vibe where you're like, anything of value you just want to snatch and grab and go, and maybe you can barter that with someone. It doesn't fit Starfield, in my opinion. It doesn't feel like it mars the experience, okay? Imagine you want to be like a captain or a sort of like a Harlock space pirate adventurer, and you're trying to figure out if that picture frame is like worth money. Like, it'll say a number that is worth, it'll say value, but then you go to sell it and it's like a fraction of that. I always think that that's obviously going to change. The number tricks me every time. I see it's like, oh, it's $600, and you go sell it for like $20, and it's like, why did I even touch that? I just think that's a waste of time. Also, the spacesuits, everybody's got a spacesuit. You can pick up everyone's spacesuit and like take it off of them. I think that that's kind of like a waste of time now too. It's just these systems mar your experience. You want to loot the guy, and for some reason you just feel like, hey, that's going to be the suit that's going to be like the money maker for me. It's just dumb. I think that they should have went for a more streamlined experience. Like, get some money after shooting the guy. That guy might have some credits. Take them straight up. I think because you want to shine light on all of the great things to be experienced in the game, you want to, kind of sunset some of these older, marred experiences. Like, is that notepad? Oh, I see, it's a bunch of notepads. That's a notepad. That's a notepad. Oh, there's a book that's worth a bunch of money, and it's only like the first page, and you're like, okay, but I'll take that. That system is just a huge time pad. Okay, to be honest, I spend hours just in one little area just looking around, and it's end up obviously being not fruitful and not overall fun. I jumped ahead a little bit, but I'm going to get into the exploration. I'm going to get into the space combat. Exploration, obviously the world is empty, and I was alright with that, right? I could see, you might go to one refinery on the planet that's hazardous or something like that, and that's understandable. But when you put a cave like 900,000 meters or kilometers, whatever unit of measurement you wanted to use, out there, and you have to walk to it, that is the most marred experience of space exploration that I could even imagine, because who wants to do that? Even the Mars rover had wheels, okay? like you gotta imagine how hard that is to play when you want to get excited about an RPG that's mostly talking and stuff. You spend a lot of time traveling in one direction. You're not talking because you're moving. You can't talk to your companions. Anytime you want to have a good dialogue, you have to sit still. So you're walking, and it takes you forever to get to your little place. I could see let me know now. How about, I'm gonna kick you a solution right now. How about, okay, a little object, okay, because there's a outpost system in the game, okay? You establish an outpost, and you build a little rover, what do you call it, a caravan, or no, like a storage unit or something, like a garage, okay? You build a garage, and you have rovers in it or whatever. You don't even have to program that into the game. Just say, now fast travel in this area is like enabled. Okay, imagine that, it's just enabled. So when you see a cave, you can jump to the cave because the rover took you over there. I can imagine that. Okay, I don't need to waste time. I don't need to even see the thing carry me. Just say, because you put little, a little rover thing on the outpost, it'll take you there, so you don't have to have your experience just drag through the mud because you had to walk so far to the place. It was just so bad and boring. And the problem is, I really felt like playing the game wasting my time, even when I was playing a game to waste time. Okay, well, ultimately, when we play these games for entertainment, we're wasting our time. Okay, we're not building a multi-million-dollar empire. We're wasting our time, but we waste our time in the way we want to waste our time, not be, artificially padded for a game's playtime. I put 9 hours in a game, but I know I only played probably about 2, because a lot of that time I was spent spinning my wheels, being lost, and trying to read manuals and sort my inventory. Okay, oh goodness, alright, so I did talk about being over encumbered, I think, and how much that sucks. Yeah, first side quest experience was marred because of running, and then you get a boost pack, and the boost pack is just not fun either. Maybe it gets better, but that first one, and this is getting into another point I want to talk about, honestly. You can start off with trash stuff. You can start off with systems that are tedious, that are just not good, but help the player out. Let them know that, hey, if you dedicate your time in this direction, you can probably get that cool boost pack. You can probably get that cool method of storing your items or something like that, because you can see, maybe have an NPC talk about it, maybe an enemy have an example of the good boost pack or something like that. Somehow you have to present like that the advancement is out there for you to acquire. You can't just be like, all right, go ahead and play this open world sandbox game, and then just force them to have faith that you'll be able to surprise them with something. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's fun anymore, right? Especially with where we are now with technology, and I'm saying that very loosely because there's so many options. Like, you could give your players a demo, okay? You could give your players some sort of synopsis of how you expect them to play the game or discover in the game, okay? Like an idea of what the game is. Don't say it's No Man's Sky. Just say okay, this game starts you off as a simple miner, and then you have the whole galaxy ahead of you to then be X, right? Maybe some, galactic gunslinger, or a, super efficient space hauler, super efficient, really clue them in, yeah, so it's going to be trash now, but it can be better later, you know what I mean? Because I thought I'd be in a rut, okay? I'm running around in the town over encumbered, trying to get back to my ship, and I'm like, okay, my ship, I gotta transfer stuff to my ship, I gotta figure out a way to sell stuff, okay, I go all the way back. Anyway, I had to go to the manual, okay, in the game, in order to figure out how to do a lot of the things, okay? I would find another NPC that could be a crew member, so I had to figure out how to get them to my outpost that I built, and I didn't know that. All right, I'm like, okay, I built an outpost, I put a bed in there, and I put a little, storage place in there, a place to be in there, and you could go through the airlock and stuff, but you need an actual crew outpost edition thing that you had to create. And simple things like that, I think, can be woven into your initial experience in a better way, okay? And that's what I think. I know, I'm sure Bethesda probably wanted to get players into the galaxy as fast as possible, but imagine if one of the quests you just had to build an outpost, and it's one of the early quests. Maybe you incentivize building an outpost by saying, hey, one company is advertising a trip to Alpha Centauri or whatever the planet is, but you got to build an outpost out there, and then it becomes a whole side quest where it's a reality show or whatever. That's cool, right? I just think stuff like that would help the player get eased in and understand yeah, so these systems exist to help me, and I can choose to use them or not, but at least give me some sort of clue on how to use them. Other than that, you're reading the manual as if you're trying to build like a model ship or something like that, right? And I'm like, I just didn't know that was that type of game, because I didn't have to do that in Fallout 4, honestly, right? You join the Minutemen. The Minutemen are about building outposts. So they're like, yo, we need you to build an outpost. We need you to go scratch all these aliens or these little, infected people, whatever, stuff like that. Do your thing. I just think it could be the getting you into it experience could be a lot more dynamic. Okay, it doesn't have to be long. It can be dynamic. Like an exciting like first scene can introduce you to a lot of systems. Okay, maybe there's an outpost that's already built and you got to finish it by adding the one crew thing, and you're like, all right, I can stay here. Thanks, man. You took care of me. Barrett's your first crew member or something like that. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, people are judging the game based on what they expected Bethesda to deliver, calling its systems Bethesda stuff. Okay, like Bethesda jank. The bugs are Bethesda jank. Okay, the dialogue systems are Bethesda game processes and stuff like that. Now, that's going to make it hard for the consumer, because I'm imagining there's a ton of other people, me being 37 years old, there's a ton of consumers between the ages of 18 and 21. Me, I started Oblivion when I was 18. Ton of consumers who span that age range, who don't know who Bethesda is. Okay, they probably looking at Starfield because they got an Xbox Series X or whatever, and they like, I liked they liked the previous RPG that maybe they played, okay, or they heard about it on a commercial they was watching. They was watching some gaming show that showed Starfield or whatever, right? And it was like, hey man, that's good graphics, I might want to check that out. But I don't know what Bethesda stuff is, right? So it's making it tough for a lot of you got game reviewers talking about how Bethesda stuff is in the game, and I'm like, what does that mean for a person who's never played a Bethesda game, right? What is the expectation of fun when you automatically have to put up with some things that are to be expected in this particular type of game? I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's cool anymore, right? I don't think that's accepted anymore, and that's part of the reason why I had to refund the game. Okay, it ultimately is very sad that I had to do this, and I'm putting this video out because I want to say something about it. I feel like there's a way to go about giving someone an open world. I really love the open worlds that they crafted prior to Starfield. Very big fan of RPGs, like I said. So this really hurts for me to even have to say this. Whoever this may get to, I'm sure nobody cares that, Cowboy Beatbox had to return a game. Oh my god, he didn't like a game. But this game, Bethesda games in general, have really I grew up with them almost, right? From when I was 18, I'm playing them for so many years, and they absorbed so much of my playtime. I remember playing Skyrim, and then Dark Souls, and then back to Skyrim, and then ultimately back to Dark Souls. Skyrim was fun to an extent, but fun in its own way, and Dark Souls was fun in its own way. So I always had a soft spot for Bethesda games, and I really feel bad because I'm missing out on the experiences that could have been had. I'm not even getting into, oh my goodness, a lot of people are talking about graphics and stuff in the game. I ain't even talking about the graphics, because I already expected some sort of graphic stuff going on. My game crashed, okay? My game resolution was just going wonky sometimes. Like, people would look like humans, then they look like sludge. They look like humans and sludge. Like, a lot of enemies would just get stuck in the walls. I would shoot them, they get stuck in the wall. I mean, it looked kind of cool, but I knew it was a bug. It's just so many. It was like a bunch of issues, other NPCs coming into the frame when you're talking to one NPC. I don't know how that happens, really. Like, it just happens. Like, nobody looks at that and is like, how do we fix that? How do we just fix that so it never happens? You know what I'm saying? Like, get that AI to just get out of the frame. How do you do that? Yeah, just get that NPC. Maybe make that NPC not even visible right now because I'm viewing one guy. Despawn him. You know what I mean? If he's just an NPC is not critical, despawn him. I don't know. Like, really? Okay. So So that's my take. Really appreciate anybody who's out there listening. Just allowing me to vent, because my family can't really take too much of me like venting and stuff like that. They don't really care, right? Like, this is a game. This is a thing that I do. Is my thing, right? I sit there and I just play an RPG. I role play a space pirate or some sort of Buzz Lightyear type of character or whatever. I really want to have fun doing that, but I can't allow my definition of fun to be altered, ultimately in a way that makes me feel like I'm wasting my time. Okay. And it's sad, because it could really, I feel like there's little ways that they could really fix that to make it a overall like fun experience. One thing I hate about games in general is how they're always reduced to their hours of playtime. Okay, I'm making another video about that. That's like a whole nother video. Don't even get me started. Okay, but yeah, thanks for listening. If you like what you hearing, okay, if you want to listen to me more, subscribe and put in the comments, how you feel. Turn this into a conversation. I would love to see if y'all had y'all thoughts and stuff like that. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.